Good morning, Facebook. Tim Anderson. Hey, I'm here at the border station in North Carolina today. I'm standing on the Virginia side to help explain some of the laws that we're going to be looking at regarding the grandfather clause. Now, yesterday we learned that Governor Northam is going to implement a grandfather clause for what will be prohibited weapons in Virginia in 2020. Now, I want to explain a few things to you because I know many of you have commented and have said, hell no, we don't want that. No compromise, no compromise. Well, let me explain a few things first. If you've purchased a firearm from a gun shop in Virginia, and I know this, I'm not talking from the law, now I'm talking from the gun shop side. I own a gun shop. So let me tell you what happens when you buy a firearm from a gun shop anywhere in the United States. You have to fill out two forms. One is called a 4473 form, which is the federal application, and the second one is a state application to be able to purchase a firearm. Now, when you purchase a gun and we run your background check, we log all of the information on the 4473. We log the serial number, we log the type of firearm, we log the manufacturer. All of that stuff is in that record. Now, when we send the information to the state police, we don't tell them what you're buying, but we tell them what type of firearm you're buying. Are you buying a pistol? Are you buying a rifle? Are you buying a shotgun? So if you're buying a modern sporting rifle at my gun shop, all that the state police know when we run the background check is you're buying a rifle. So that could be a modern sporting rifle, or it could be some type of a bolt action rifle. Point is this: they don't know, but it is in the record at my gun shop. Now, the state police and the ATF can come to my gun shop anytime and look at the records. And we have to hold those records for 20 years. They do not need a warrant. They do not need probable cause. They can come in and inspect those records. And in fact, the ATF can come in just to audit us to make sure that our records are in order anytime that they want. So if you have purchased what will be a prohibited weapon next year from a gun shop anywhere in the United States, that is on file with the gun shop, and the government has access to those records. Now, in Virginia, if you've purchased it in Virginia, the state police have access to that record. Now, when the governor says he wants registration, they already have access to those records as if you've purchased the firearm from the FFL in Virginia. Now, obviously, if you purchased your firearm from a FFL in North Carolina or something like that, they would need cooperation from the other agencies, and I don't know 100% if they would get that. But if you've purchased a firearm in Virginia, registration of your firearms is no giveaway. They already have access to the information. So I want you to understand that. Now, I'm standing here at the North Carolina border to make a very important point here. The courts are not going to back us up when these laws come down. I talked about that yesterday, and you can watch my video about that. When Virginia says that firearms are going to be prohibited and it will be a felony to enforce to have those, then you're not going to have the ability to run to court and say this isn't right, this isn't fair, this is infringement on the Second Amendment. If you register your firearms, you'll be safe. You'll be allowed to have them. If you don't want to register your firearms, here is what you need to do. You need to take your firearms. You need to walk here to North Carolina. See how I'm walking here? And now I'm in North Carolina. You need to get your firearms on this side of the line. They will be legal in North Carolina if you don't want to register them. But if you do register them, you will be able to walk back over here and keep them in Virginia. Now, it's a symbolic point. Now, let me also say a few things. Many of you have said no compromise, no compromise, no compromise. I get that. I understand that. That's an important talking point, but here's the deal. We have nothing to compromise with. The Democrats control the governor. The Democrats have both House and the Senate. and they have the courts on their side on this issue. There's no bargaining chips we have to compromise on these issues. So the long game here is snatching a stalemate from certain defeat. We need a grandfather clause, and if that comes with registration, we're not giving anything up if you've purchased your firearms from a Virginia FFL. If you haven't, you're going to have to think about whether you want to register or whether you want to go down to North Carolina and store your firearms, because it will be a felony in Virginia to possess prohibited weapons after whatever date they're going to establish. So you have to understand that. It's not a compromise. We're not compromising. There's nothing to compromise. They have total control. What we do is we speak out, we make our voices heard, the politicians are listening, and they're softening. It's a Band-Aid until we can get to the next election cycle. So please understand that from the guy who owns a gun shop, from a guy who practices law, from the guy who knows how the long game works in politics, what we want is softening of the bills. It's not a compromise. These things are going to happen. And what we're looking for is to try to soften them up until we can get to the next election cycle and hopefully get some reversal of what's happened. Hope that helps, Facebook. We'll see you next time. Have a good day.